name's Ryan Sheridan. I'm a lecturer at U College Lanarkshire and the Assistant Training Manager for WorldSkills UK for Mechanical Engineering CAD, having been a previous competitor and achieved a bronze medal in London 2011. Over the last few days, we've been involved in a best practice exchange with educators and experts from around the world in the UK. And we've also ran a training and pressure test with some European countries and our competitors for Mechanical Engineering CAD within Squad UK. A virtual best practice exchange is a way for a community of educators to come together from around the UK along with international experts to discuss different opportunities and ways we can evolve and develop our curriculum in line with WorldSkills. Within the best practice exchange, we had Barry Ski, who is the WorldSkills UK training manager and expert. He's also the head of faculty for engineering and automotive at U College Lanarkshire. We had Dario Pinto from Portugal, who was the chief expert for a number of years and has since moved on to be the skills competition manager for Mechanical Engineering CAD. There was myself, who's the assistant training manager for WorldSkills UK for Mechanical Engineering CAD and an ex-competitor. And we had a variety of guests from around the UK who were there to discuss and ask questions around embedding best practice within their educational establishments. During the best practice exchange, I spoke briefly about the common technical skills gaps that have been identified within the FE sector. This sparked some interesting discussion points and views, and here's the clip.
For me, we have skills gaps both technically and in the softer skills within the UK. For me, we see simple things, errors in part modelling, for example, in terms of the basics of constraining sketches appropriately within a part model. That creates errors in accuracy further down the line. Now, whether that's in the production of a drawing or sending a component to a 3D printer or to CNC, that can have a major impact. So we see that coming through the system as we go, as we take learners from the TVET system into the WorldSkills standard. We see that as a common theme. Assembly modelling, again, same things aren't put together appropriately. Productivity becomes a real issue as well. The speed at which people produce the work. For me, industry, we know there's a real challenge in terms of the UK improving its productivity. The WorldSkills standard and the standards we see apprentices achieving across the world, the time in which they're producing that work is immense. In terms of, if we benchmark ourselves, we're fast, we're quick, but we know we're behind, and we actually see that happening when it comes to looking at our own apprentices and apprentices that we see at international competitions.
To bridge technical skills gaps that have been identified within the educational sector in the UK, we try to introduce real-life influences and projects driven by industry, and industry constantly have a part to play in our educational environment. The more live working projects that we can get students involved in better prepares them and bridges those gaps that you cannot learn from a curriculum. It only comes from real-life experience. Dario Pinto, our international counterpart from Portugal, discussed the need for educators to keep pace with the technological advances and changes within CAD, and here's the clip.
The problem is we are a little bit crystallized, okay, in a certain way of doing things. The technology is having a huge evolution, and we need to keep up with that. For instance, we have now lots of tools that we can use across the software, and talking about the software, that we are not really using. Okay, all the potential that there is on the CAD tools. With this, we have always the support from the big brands like Autodesk and so on, and they know what they are doing across the world. but we are keep doing it on the way and very focused on our curriculum, and we need to update them.
It's vitally important that all educators within the CAD industry keep up to date with the latest technologies, because it's a very fast-paced industry. Year on year, there are big advancements within software and technologies and manufacturing, so we must make sure our students are prepared for industry as it currently is, and also where industry will be in the future. During the best practice exchange, I discussed the importance of having students involved in the marking and checking of their own work and assessments, and here's that section now. I also think that as they're progressing, it's important that they don't only get the teaching and then assessment. Our international training that we're going to be doing, as Martin mentioned, with other countries, the format of that will be some training at the beginning of the weekend, testing as we do in FE, but the marking is not done by us. The marking is going to be done along with the competitors, so that they don't only find out a pass or a fail or have some written feedback. They're involved in that process and fully understand what it is we are trying to assess, because in industry, the person who checks their work or is going to manufacture is looking for certain things, not just that design, but there are key things that they are trying to make sure are accurate and right. So it's important, if possible, that the student is involved in that marking process. During the best practice exchange, Barry, Dario and myself all highlighted the importance of embedding the World Skills Standards of Excellence in curriculum frameworks in the vocational education training sector. Here's that clip now. We can help industry evolve and do things that they weren't qualified to do in the past, and we've seen that in a lot of different sectors where our students are going out there and showing them something that they can do, so the company then invest in that area to expand and grow their business. So not only are we reflecting what they require, we're also showing them opportunities that they might not have considered previously. To elaborate on that, we have seen a significant improvement in attainment within our educational system by embedding the World Skills Standards in our curriculum. And this has been proven around the world with full educational systems that have taken those standards as the core of their education system within TVET. Industry now recognise the standard that our students work to and continually come back to us because they're ready for industry and don't just have qualification on paper. Another valuable section of the best practice exchange was the discussion around the updating of World Skills Standards every 2 years. Here's Dario talking about that now.
I will never forget that, I don't know if it was last competition, there was a big discussion if we should have a caliper 200 or 300. There was a country that wanted a caliper of 300 because it was the only one that he had at their own school. So we need to balance all of this. But what we have, and we did it on purpose, is the occupation standards and the technical description. We write it in the way, like the politicians do, okay, that we can make different interpretations, okay, so we can use the technology just to open it, okay, the possibility. We try to be as much as possible direct and with very focused one, but about technology, it driven us for the development. Please don't forget that we also receive the feedback from the enterprises to make it to change the occupational standards and the technical description. So for this competition for Shanghai, we are going to keep probably a little bit more in line what we did on the last two cycles, and I'm happy to say that actually our skill, mechanical engineering CAD, we have been introducing lots of changes, lots of evolution on the past 2 cycles. Okay. Also, there is other skills that has been showing up around world skills, and also at the, as they are named as future skills, with skills that we already have. So we also need to balance that and to understand what the direction that the world skills itself wants to go to. Okay.
Daryl Pinto discusses updating the World Skills occupational standards every 2 years, and the importance of this because CAD is a very fast-paced industry, and the competition being the highlight of our educational system in so many countries. We want to ensure that we're using the latest technologies that industry require, so that all of those educational establishments which follow suit and set their standards at World Skills level are using and preparing students for the latest industry advancements.